Hello, good evening. We should be live, I believe. I hope so. There is the Way Forward meetup, another meeting, and welcome. My name is Weronika Mularczyk. I am Microsoft MVP. And, oh, okay. And today we have a special guest. We have Michał Guzowski, who will tell us about how to save IT resources. Michał is Microsoft MVP too, so we have something in common. We know each other. And let me first describe some things at the beginning, some organization things, and then we will move on to the presentation. Okay, so of course, you can come and see our website, TWF Community, and see the links to our socials, Facebook, for the YouTube, of course, the meetup. And there is a big button, I want to be a speaker. If you want to share your knowledge, to tell us something interesting, just fill the survey and we will reach out to you about another speech. That is on our website, and of course you can see all of our previous meetups recordings on the YouTube channel. So TWF meetup, and there are a few recordings, some very interesting stuff. So feel welcome to just see it. And last but not least, of course, at the end, there is a survey because we want to know your feedback about the presentation. Of course, the most valuable and interesting answers will be rewarded. So please fill it. And the gift is sponsored by our sponsor. So Avanade Poland is our sponsor. So thank you very much. And from my side, I believe that's it. And let's move to Michał presentation. So it's time for you, Michał. Good luck. I can't wait to hear what you want to share with us. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Veronica. Thank you for having me. Wow, you disappeared. So now I'm alone, only with my presentation, and of course you, the audience. Please remember then that if you have any kind of question, feel free to type it in the comments. I'll try to track it during my presentation, and also at the very end, I have a reserved booked space just for Q&A session, Q&A stuff. Right now, I'd like to go into the topic, which is how to save IT resources. Of course, we can save IT resources on many ways. But since I'm a person related to Microsoft business applications, to the area of low code, no code, I'll focus mainly on that topic. So how to actually try to help our dear software developers. Why actually I have a mandate to talk about this topic. So I was a programmer some time ago. I'm in IT since 2012, and at the very beginning, for first 6 years, I was a programmer, software developer, developing in SharePoint. So yeah, that was a very hard way to become a programmer, but well, I passed it. And right now I'm more related to the business side, to marketing and sales, but still I'm in the IT industry. I'm mainly talking and selling no-code, low-code approaches. I know how these platforms, especially Power Platform, works under the hood. And what I try to do is to connect, to be a link between the business perspective, business side, and the IT developers side. And I'll begin my presentation with a fun fact, which I don't know if you know about. This chart is from European Committee around employment, developers' employment on the European Union market. And this diagram, this chart shows the relation between the need for developers. This is the blue line, the red line, and the current employment. This is the blue line. And as you can see, actually, in 2019, because the report has been prepared in the 2019, the committee predicted that, okay, there is some, of course, differences, and there's a gap to be filled, and it will grow slowly along the journey. But actually, that was 2019, and now in 2020, after COVID-19, after the war in Ukraine and Russia, so the current needs are much higher than that. There's a huge gap right now to be filled out, and we cannot, let's say, produce more software developers, more programmers. There's too much work to be done. The pace of the business, the pace how quickly we need to respond to the market needs is much higher. And of course, we need to somehow get new people to the IT market, convince them that IT is the best career path in their lives. So we sell. We try to sell them becoming software developer. We as a industry talk about being software developer as someone who is always happy about their job. They are very helpful. They're always heartwarm and helpful for others. They are very wise and good listeners, etc., etc. No over hours, no stress. Super job, super job, and of course, huge money around that. Yeah, but this is only the part of truth that only someone who is already a software developer can know about, because there is a lot of things that we don't used to talk about when we promote, advocate for software developers. There is a lot of technical and boring part, like reading documentation. There is a lot of communication issues between us and managers and sometimes customers, and there are hundreds of hours that we need to spend on debugging sessions, which and well, actually, why I'm talking right now, how being a software developer is so hard. I'm telling you that to aware you that many people that start their journey on becoming programmer actually face the real size, these maybe bad size, the things that not everyone love to do, and they're scared out and then leave the IT industry, and we still have a huge gap to fill out. We somehow need to maybe try to look on the programmer everyday life, the programming stuff, the debugging stuff on the different side. Maybe try not to produce more programmers, but maybe lower the threshold on which people need to jump over it, and just try to make programming easier, just like that. Many people, especially programmers who actually still perceive their job as a perfect challenges that they can solve every day, don't realize that using new frameworks, using new libraries, using new languages or different stuff related to programming business don't care about. Really, the business is not interested on how we do it. They just need the result. They need to make things work, and that's it. Because basically, what I always try to remind everyone is that actually we as IT developers are on the sake of the business. The business actually runs our job. It's not like they depend on us. We depend on them because they are creating the need for our job. And well, if something as a programmer, if something is super interesting, like using new approach to solve some problems, we love to solve that, but business don't care about it. They need to make things work as fast as possible. There is a cool book. Maybe you're not aware of it. It's called Surviving IT by Paul Cunningham. It's about getting into the IT industry, which seems to be like a great choice for people who love technology, but things can start to look a lot of less fun when you're in the inside. I definitely recommend you to read the book if you're thinking about becoming an IT developer, or maybe you want to hire more developers, etc., etc. Another fun fact is that this pie chart that shows the IT job market in Poland, and in 2021 there was 91,000 of ads for new roles in IT, but only 7% of them was for junior seniority, which shows weird approach that even though the industry is aware that we are in the huge problem right now to fulfill the gap of software developers, we don't want to educate them. We don't want to give them opportunity to have additional experience. And that's why right now I want to tell you more about no code, low code. If you're someone who is not really aware of what no code, low code is, and you maybe see that for the first time, I'll give you a quick example. So on the animation, you can see the execution of changing application, that you can simply just change some toggles, click some toggles, change some colors, and your application can be immediately live available for other users. But for instance, let's say we want to build something more advanced. We want to create a button that will send an email. So now you can see that I'm adding some additional resource, some connection, and I'm adding a button to the application. I can put it anywhere I want. I can change its size. And just like in an Excel, I can put an Excel function, Excel-alike function, that says, hey, mail service, just send an email to this and that receiver with this and that message. And boom, it's done. You hit play and it's on, it's live. This is how simple is building low-code applications. As you can see, the functions I put there was really similar to Excel function. Does it mean that Excel is a low-code platform? Yes, it is. Excel is a local platform become a local platform as soon as you start using functions. So if you at any point in time use the sum function, you actually start local development. Another example, this time there will be a no-code example, is so the scenario is like that. I want to having information on my social media, on my email, and maybe on my mobile when a new video appear on the specific channel. So I can very easily build integration between these 4 services just in a matter of tens of seconds, I guess. And now imagine that you would need to develop that in your favorite language, Python, .NET, Java, whatever. That I can, I can. I'm sure that you won't be able to deliver that as fast as using low code, no code, which shows the benefit that using that platforms, no code platforms, can very easily help you in what you need to do. The local no code market is huge nowadays. It's really, really huge. This chart was prepared by me and focused on, in my opinion, the most popular platforms. But actually, I saw the report that described around counted the number of different no-code local platforms, and there were over 1,000 platforms. So there is no chance anyone would, be aware what all platforms, every platform can do. So yeah, probably some of you may have question, why do we need this? Oh, I'll take a look on chat if there is any question. If no, I'll just continue. Hold on. Yeah, okay, no questions so far, so let's continue. So yeah, why actually we need such platforms? What are the benefits? And as a developer, as an ex-programmer, I remember the times where delivering simple applications, simple forms took me at least 1 month. I remember projects that took me and my colleagues more than 1 year. And now I can compare it to what I have when I'm delivering solutions using local platforms. It's enough to have 1, maximum 2 or 3 people in the team to deliver, to start the analysis, implement the solution, and then deploy it on the customer side. It can really take you a lot of less time, 10 times less than in regular programming. Of course, it's not like I'm not trying to say that using low-code, no-code is now a ultimate and universal way of developing IT systems. Of course, it's not like that. Of course, it's like still very specific to the case. Some systems, some solutions are it can be easier done using no-code, low-code, but some need to be actually delivered still in the regular developing approach. And let me give you an example. So imagine that you have an application that you can send a document, it will store the document somewhere, then the document will appear in the same storage on 13 different languages. It can be very helpful if you, for instance, want to have a translated knowledge library, because translated documents can be easily indexed by your search engines. And this is one of the real cases for one of our customers. And the real deal here is that local consultant, let's say citizen developer, that's something I will explain a little bit later, but this local consultant can prepare this all front-end side, can prepare some automations, can select the storage for the file, and then specifically the translation can be done from the perspective of local developer magically. But of course, there's no magic. There are only developers who actually can use advanced systems, can use some Python or C# language to integrate the systems, to translate the document to specific language and return it back to the sender. And that shows the full solution that actually can join forces of software developers and local developers. This example shows that it's not like everything should be done via local platforms, or everything should be done via software development, regular software development. Actually, we can join forces, and that's the best approach I advise. I used a term citizen developer. Who is citizen developer? So citizen developer is someone who knows what should be done, who knows the business perspective, who definitely works on the processes that need to be improved, and is aware where are the gaps. That's actually this perspective is required for business analysts or project managers to be known. But if someone who is already there, if we could give them, empower them to deliver maybe not full solution, but at least part of it, it will definitely, first of all, shortcut the time and lower the costs, but it will also lower the risk of the project that we fail to understand the business requirements, which is very often it's a case, right? So whenever I remember the projects where actually we think we understood the business, but actually it appeared that we don't really understand them, because the same sentence, the same information can be understood in at least 4 different ways. Yeah, that's part of the story to lower these risks. Another part is to reduce our staff from, for instance, marketing or finances that could leave our job. If we empower them, it maybe convince them to stay, but just a little bit change their career path, but still use the specifics of our industry, of our company. And my favorite part as an ex-software developer is that as an IT, as a programmer, I hate do it the same stuff like programming, implementing form logic. I hate it because for every application I need to do it. Sometimes I use some MVC, MVP, MVVM approaches, blah, blah, blah. That was definitely something that bored me a lot. And what I like to do, I like to do new stuff, unique stuff. And whenever I saw in a project someone who took that boring stuff, the boring for me, took that stuff and deliver that, I can focus on something that really need my specialization. I became, a special force in the project. And that's something I really, really appreciate. So additional interesting thing is that actually you can very easily advise and introduce new people, new from the perspective of IT industry, new people to the mechanics of low-code, the no-code, because actually what we are comparing, spending several months or years programming and learning, these objectivity paradigms, or spend few weeks on just, become master of some no-code local platform. Of course, if you're maybe from the business perspective or you're IT architect, you may think or ask, is it a temporary hype? Is it something that will be huge interest right now? I mean, it is very popular, but after a year that should drop down and everything will get back to the old days. So the fun fact is that actually low-code, no-code is with us since the 90s. Yes, that long, since the 90s. Back then, it was named Rapid Application Development, RAD. But because of something, and I'll explain it in a second, it cannot become popular. And the reason is, in IT, we didn't have standards for many, many years. I think since 2015, we, as a IT industry, we developed standards that everyone agreed on. So that's, for instance, using REST or Graph APIs, using OAuth 2 for the authentication. We agreed that okay, JSON is not that bad. Everyone can specific data schema in the JSON. So the standardization of the different things in IT allows these local platforms, they can benefit from it. And now low-code no-code platforms is something that become more as an integrator than just huge platform that try to do everything just in this platform. And as you can see, the Gartner reports from February 2021 predicted that, first of all, as a low-code application platforms now are in the early majority on the business or the innovation maturity chart. And also I think it was since 2025 the 70% of new business applications for the enterprises will be delivered in low code. And that is around 500,000 of applications that will appear in the next couple of years. And 70% of them will be delivered in low code. So that's a huge opportunity for many businesses to take it. Additionally, I'd like to add that this is another chart from the some Polish reports regarding which industries are into changing their career paths. And as you can see, this is the administration, this is the industry. I forgot the name. This is some development. This is I forgot the name as well. But nevertheless, there are some industries that are super into changing their career paths to IT, and actually over half of employees from different industries are thinking about IT. Additionally, as you can see, this chart shows the total of ads for new roles in IT in the 2021. It's from the same report as previous chart, and it shows that actually half of the ads is for backend, frontend, or full stack developer. Over half of it. So actually, these roles can be easily to be taken by the local developers, local consultants. So that's one thing. Another thing is that if we allow our people or new people to become local developer consultant, is it possible to track their activities? Does local platforms is mature enough to give you tools to track the activities, some apps usage? So this screen that I'm showing right now is an example of such tracking system that tells you everything about how many applications you have in your organizations, how many automations you have, if you have more than one environment. So then what environments store which applications or automations, etc., etc. In this example, this is a real example from one of my customers. The customer has over 300 applications and over 1,000 automations, and that was like 1 year ago. So probably right now they have much more. Moreover, in terms of the Power Platform, it's mature enough. The local platform, the Power Apps, is mature enough to have just regular DevOps pipelines that automate the deployment, the testing, and this is something that also IT architects really care of. So the perfect scenario exclude human interactions. Why? Because human people are much prone to error than automations. Moreover, in terms of the Power Apps, it can be, of course, and actually every local no-code platform allows for extensions. So you can develop something that you miss in the application. You can deliver that using regular development, which is also very important for extendability purposes and for integration purposes. Something that many people ask, if I will use Power Platform or some other platform, I would be able to integrate it with our system that is maybe, I don't know, on premise, and I don't know, it's very old, legacy, blah blah blah. So yes, generally, if you can do it using regular development, you can probably just deliver part of it using Power Apps and then extend the Power Apps with regular development to be able to integrate it with any system you want, actually. My experience is not something that, you know, I read in some manuals or in some sales presentation. It's actually something that comes from different um, companies. I'm working as a professional specialist. So, and the companies are of different size, from different countries, some international companies, etc. Yeah, so if I was able to use Power Platform in these customers, then I guess it can be used almost everywhere. The another question that is very common is that, okay, so Michael, it's perfect that low code, no code will, you know, help us to reduce our IT resources, actually reduce the work that our software developers will do. What will happen with IT actually? Are we on the beginning of resigning from IT resources, from programmers? As a programmer, should I be afraid of my work? Maybe I should already start to learn local platform and forget about Python, etc. And I totally understand these fears, because I don't know if you know the Arkwright spinning frame, the invention that is on the right side of the slide. It was the invention in 1765, so long time ago, over almost 300 years ago. And that was innovation in the textile industry. So it automated the process of creating cotton textiles, and it met with huge protests of the cotton employees because they were afraid of their work. Well, you can easily imagine that if you are hired as a someone who, I don't know, I mean, did something with wool manually, and now some new guy, Richard Arkwright, presents you the innovation, the device that will actually automate your work, what would you think? Probably, I will not be needed anymore, so I don't want it. And that's supernatural that we are afraid of our work, but we cannot really understand the what will happen once we deploy that. Adopt that technology. We're not aware of things that we are not aware. It's very. I know it's super truism, but my intention is to show you that we don't know what will happen when we will. What we will do once we start innovate things and automate these things, but the history of innovations shows that the automations were always helpful for the whole society. For instance, in case of these spinning frame, the overall employment over 24 years increased from 7,900 to 320,000 of employees in the textile industry. And you can easily understand it once you think a little bit, because, well, if you can more quickly deliver some textiles, then it will become cheaper, then there will be much more need on the market, then the demand will be much higher, so you'll need more people to maybe start to sell these things, maybe repair such machines, etc., to build these machines as well. So actually, the innovations never were against the society. Innovations, automations were always helpful for society in the bigger perspective, in the bigger time perspective. The same applies to for instance, cars industry. So the cars employment, once it become automated, rise from 140,000 people in 1910 to almost 1 million of employees in 1970. So that's one thing that it's supernatural. And if you remember what I was talking about, the joint forces of software developers and low code consultants, developers will be still needed for this magic that is happened behind some part of the process. Another thing is that someone need to develop these low-code, no-code platforms, and definitely will be delivered using regular development languages. As I told you before, there is over 1,000 such platforms, and the market growth is around 60% per year, or 26% per year. So these platforms, such platforms will be developed more and more. New platforms will appear, and once again, someone need to deliver that. So there always will be need for software developers, but rather what we are talking about or what we really care about is to give new people out of IT industry help hand to come into IT industry and actually take some part of our work that we don't want to do. On the right side, you have a screenshot from the website Will Robot Take My Job? And this service shows some perspectives, chances that some specific job will be automated and took by the robots. And there is only 4% chances that software developers will be replaced by the automations. Even though we know about some institutes, projects, some high school academics projects that are combining programming with AI. So for instance, on the GitHub, you for instance have Copilot, I guess this is the name of the project. on GitHub that help you, suggest you some additional code snippets that you can use while you're programming. But still, someone need to write the first code. So I'm definitely not aware. We can actually compare software developers to builders, bricklayers, because software developers are actually bricklayers, uh, digital bricklayers. And the question is, are the bricklayers other bricklayering is something that is not existing anymore? No, we still need to build houses. We still need to build buildings, and the same stuff will apply to, and is applied to, software development. So yes, definitely we can still think about our beloved software development as something that will not be taken away. We can still be happy with our personal little achievements. Yeah, so if you're thinking, I don't know if you're from IT stuff, from IT world or business world or somewhere in between, you may now have a question of how to get into this, how to start with your own journey with these platforms. So, well, as I told you, there are a lot of platforms. Just pick one of them and start learning it. If I were you, I will start with something that is part of the larger ecosystem. Okay, because whenever you will start with one piece of this ecosystem, you can easily touch other parts of the ecosystem. And if I were you, I will start with Power Platform because, well, it's available in single license. You can easily test it out in your own machine. So, for instance, if you have Windows 11, you already have installed Power Automate Desktop, so the RPA platform. Well, yeah. So this is something I advise you. You can also search for some extra materials on YouTube. There's hundreds of different videos for every platform, I guess. From my side, I can tell you that there is a new project that will go since January, nocodemasters.com. There were actually already delivered the biggest no code conference in Poland on I guess it was September, October, October, and there were 350 people, even though it was the first edition, and there were some challenges regarding getting partner for the conference because, well, not every business believe in that movement, but I'm really sure of it, and the conference shows that approves our predictions. So yeah, well, what you could or should do next? First of all, pick one category, pick one platform, and masterize it. Once you master it, you can easily, first of all, use it in your business. Second of all, becoming part of the IT industry. Even if you are a software developer that don't really think about leaving programming, you can still learn these platforms just to maybe do some things more easily, more efficiently, quicker. Yeah, so I guess that's it from my side. It was not long presentation, I believe. If you want to talk to me, feel free to chat me on my LinkedIn profile, on my Twitter, or just drop me an email. Yeah, so that's it from my side. Well, Veronica, I think I can get back to you And that's it.
Yes. Sure. So I don't see any comments here right now in the chat. So if you want to ask any comment to Michał, just type it in the YouTube chat. If not, then I have some question.
Yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question regarding these no-code, low-code solutions, because I started as a developer, full stack, basically .NET.
Hmm.
Of course, I moved to the consultant part, to the architect part, but still,
Yep.
this .NET is something that is really, really close to me. Yeah, I tried some of the solutions, low code, no code, just to see how it works, how fast can
For
it be
example,
done.
which one did you use?
Power Platform, yes.
Okay.
And it was really fun, yeah, pretty easy
Hmm.
fun from my perspective, of course.
Hmm.
But I think, and I'm very curious about your opinion in about that. I think that there is still a need for some technical knowledge to write a loop, to implement something like make a decision, if yes, if not, a
Yes.
loop, some functions.
Yeah.
Please tell me something. What do you think about that?
Yeah. So you're very right that, well, if you start with local platforms, you need to have some basic understanding of the programming paradigms, like as you gave an examples, like if statements, loop statements, variables, functions, etc., etc. But actually, mm, I don't think it's something super new to people who, for instance, already use an Excel, because Excel actually already have some if statements, loop statements. It doesn't have in variables, I guess, but definitely functions and arguments is something that you have to use. But maybe I didn't differentiate that carefully, low code from the no code, because actually the no code is something that absolutely you don't need to write any single line of function or whatever. The good example of no code platform is a WordPress. So any kind, I guess, CSM systems is a no code platform, because you can easily with drag and drop build your website, your whatever, probably website. Mm, and then yeah, that's it. Of course, you can use some PHP in case of WordPress, but this is the extendability of the platform, not rather something you have to know to just build your first website, right? And so that's the distinction between no code and low code.
Okay, thank you. And I have one more question about some bugs, because of course you are using some solutions. You are using solutions that were written, and you are not responsible for it. So sometimes there can be some problems that you are not aware of. And do you recognize any issues with solutions that were already prepared but wasn't working correctly, and you, for example, needed to raise a bug to Microsoft or something like that?
Yeah. Um, so bug tracking is with every year is getting more and more mm, better. Uh, in terms of the, I mean, every local platform is just at some point of technically perspective, it's just a black box that you don't have, you can dig into it and start debugging the code of the platform itself. Excuse me. So of course there is no such you can be you cannot backtrack in that details that you can do it while you're using Visual Studio and the regular developed some stuff. But still, of course, you cannot, you can put simple maybe not backtracking but alerting functions. So for instance, if something return error, then tell me this on that or that. You can develop, or rather just implement error paths. So if some function deliver return error, then do this and that. So there is some more simple ways of backtracking, but of course it's not that advanced as if you deliver that by yourself.
Thank you. Okay, so that was my second question, and right now I think that's it. So thank you very much for your speech, for sharing your knowledge, because we really admire that any of our speakers wants to share in his or her free time the knowledge. To
Thank you for
everyone,
having me.
to everyone who will watch us later, because of course the recording is live, so we'll be ready and you can watch it anytime you want and come back and watch it again. Remember about the survey, remember about the prizes, so the Udemy vouchers, and yeah, see you on the next meetup.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.